Joe Biden made a rare appearance tonight to answer softball questions.
Walk us through what you would do differently, and assuming it actually by then will be worse.
I don't know how bad it's going to be. It's going to just be worse because he's doing nothing to deal with what he said was going to go away. It's going to get worse. I speak with docs every 3 times a week, sometimes 4 times a week, for an hour and 15 minutes. They predict among them that there are going to be over 200,000 dead by the time we get to Election Day. They predict that this is just going to get worse and worse.
Translation. Biden says Trump bad on COVID, virus bad, so Trump plus virus is worse.
If I'm fortunate enough to be elected president, where we're going to have to take significant action to do a number of things. One, you need more testing. You need to be able to test and trace. You need to be in a position where you're able to insist that everyone wear masks, everyone socially distanced, that businesses do not open if they cannot do that. We need to keep people on their feet. We need to make sure health insurance, we have health insurance, as well as making sure no one has to pay for contracting COVID and or being treated for COVID.
Well, how many of you think that's realistic? No one ever has to pay for anything. Is he even aware that we've done more testing than any nation on earth? As of today, we've done 48.6 million COVID tests in the United States, and there's no indication at all that Biden could do any more any faster. At least we haven't seen the evidence of that. So that's all bunk. So what's left? Rolling shutdowns or a complete national shutdown until the virus magically disappears.
We opened up too soon. We didn't have the virus totally under control. You have to just shut down for now. I think that is our only way out.
If you leapfrog over different phases, you increase the risk that you're going to have the kind of resurgences that we're seeing.
How much worse does it have to get in Los Angeles before you feel compelled to issue another stay-at-home order?
Sure. Well, I think we're on the brink of that.
I said this last week. I fully expect that by October, all blue states in the United States will be either shut down or on the way to shut down. And of course, we've tried shutting down all across America, and the virus is obviously still there. Meanwhile, we lost millions and millions of jobs. Now, Sweden didn't take the heavy-handed approach, and they're basically through the worst of it. Now, let's go on to tracing and tracking. This means, among other things, that the government forces you to download an app on your phone that keeps you monitored if you test positive. Now, hundreds of thousands of paid trackers, it's kind of like a new TSA for the virus that will roam around the country to keep us safe. You know, to that I say, why doesn't New York and California show us how great their tracing and tracking is? What's stopping them from showing everyone how well it works? And finally, on the mask question, Biden sounds like he would issue some sort of, I guess, federal rule mandating masks for the foreseeable future, forever, for all we know. Maybe everywhere except when you're in your own home with your family. Now, it's hard to see any of that's constitutional. And as we told you last week, the science on cloth masks is very murky, and that's putting it charitably. Nevertheless, President Trump is embracing them, and they may make some people feel better and more patriotic, so that's fine. But let's get real here. If there were a magic Democrat solution to the virus, Governors Gavin Newsom in California, Gretchen Whitmer in Michigan would have been bragging about it by now. Andrew Cuomo's nursing homes wouldn't have become killing fields. Rather than acknowledging that there are real trade-offs in fighting the virus, the left is living in la-la land. Because they act like shutting down and doing it again and again and again, that has zero consequences. Throwing people onto the unemployment rolls, however, we know has major consequences. Many of the small businesses are barely holding on as it is. And now they're having the rug pulled out from underneath them again. Pain comes in many forms. We all know that. But instead of recognizing that this is a tragedy, and it's caused by China, and one that neither Republican or Democrat could easily solve, Democrats and their media pals are playing election year politics. I guess it's to be expected. But wouldn't it be nice every now and then if good news or even good trends were embraced by both parties? Now look at this graph. Deaths and hospitalizations look like they've peaked in Arizona. They're going down. Let's hope they keep doing that. That's according to the Arizona Republic. ICU bed and ER visits by suspected and confirmed COVID cases have begun to drop. Ventilator use is also decreasing. The death toll in Texas peaked at 174 last week and has been trickling down since then. We'll look for the same trend in Florida later this week. But the reason we can't have a serious grown-up conversation about this is because every time some county in some state has an uptick in some infections, the press screams, "It's all Trump's fault. You see, we opened up too fast." I'm here tonight to tell you that's childish and it's stupid. Same with promising that lockdowns won't cost our country dearly, or pretending we can keep borrowing and printing money to cover all non-essential salaries until the pandemic is gone. That's called mailbox money. Try hiring someone in a restaurant today. We need to carefully examine trade-offs of every move we make in response to this virus. Think about it. Doctors focus primarily on one thing. It's the medical side. That's what they're trained to do. But it's the president's job to focus on the whole country. Our elderly are now suffering alone. Our children are suffering by staying at home. Parents are worried about how they can possibly manage it all. And employers are beginning to do the math, and the numbers are ugly. And of course, Americans, mostly the elderly or compromised, are still tragically succumbing to the virus. But here, as we've shown you, the deaths have been steadily declining since their peak in March. Trump's approach has been wise. He couldn't lose the entire U.S. economy by mandating a lockdown of 330 million Americans. That would have been ridiculous, would have been abusive. Plus, as we saw in May, the Democrats were fine with protesters who gathered by the thousands, some of whom, by the way, are still smashing up the place in Portland, Oregon. Those are still being excused by the left, and we're being criticized, as I mentioned to Hannity, for covering them.
There are real problems in Portland, but it is made up on Fox News like it's this raging fire out of control, and that is a gross exaggeration. It just is. It's a gross exaggeration.
So the Democrats are offering free lockdowns and an exemption from the lockdowns to anyone who agrees with them, their agenda. Now, you can see why that offer kind of would be appealing to folks who don't realize that lockdowns actually carry an enormous cost that can't be made up with new welfare programs. And I'm talking human costs, more lives, other illnesses not attended to. In reality, we need a serious and we need a balanced approach to lower the harm caused by the virus while doing the best we can to protect the economy, our families, our kids, and our small businesses. So governors in places like Texas and Florida, they've tried this more nuanced approach. And it's not going to be perfect, nothing is. But they have been more successful than their counterparts in New York and California by a long shot. But it's hard to defend and explain nuance sometimes, isn't it? And much easier to scream, "We need a national plan." So the swing voters, well, they're turning against the GOP in some cases because the White House has been telling them three things they don't want to hear. Number one, over time, you can only become prosperous by working for it, not by borrowing money or printing it. Number two, you can't cure a virus by shutting down your economy and hiding from it. And number three, no matter how much sympathy you have for young people, it's a mistake to encourage riots and looting and the destruction of property. Now, these are things that a lot of voters may not want to hear now, and repeating them may hurt the GOP in the short run. But they're all true, and they will be true no matter what the swing voters may want. And that's the angle.